And now, our feature presentation. Hey guys, I'm Scarfy.
I'm Naka.
And I'm Kruz.
And welcome to Subwoofer Entertainment, a determinedly drunk, geeky, and showful podcast where wolves we house and stream, we entertain, bringing you all latest entertainment news. Sets like a music appreciation class to talk about what's going on certain topics and see how people react to them in certain ways. And yeah, this is definitely a interesting piece of note. What do you guys? We have beautiful, happy holidays, people. Happy holidays. We have
Merry Chrysler.
Happy holidays. Merry Crimbo. Holy shit. Where's the Tylenol? Anyway, we are looking a little bit festive today, and I just want to give a big shout out to Kiri for helping us make this beautiful presentation. We were talking to me and Naka were talking to him, and we were trying to get all this situated up. And the interesting thing about this is that it's all a working process. It's a learning experience. We're all doing this. Naka, what do you think? Like, I don't know about you, but I love this new setup that we have for the holidays, even though we only get to use it one time a year. But hey, there's always next year, and we can use it many times that year. So next year. So what do you have to say regarding this? Because I really like it. I also like the lights that kind of glow up. If you guys can look at where we actually have lights that glow, isn't that awesome?
Yes. This is it's a WebM file on loop. I would need a better processor to run this at 60 FPS and have our Stinger transition run smooth, because when I was running it at 60 FPS, the frames were dropping into like 50, 40, and 30 FPS, which is, I don't like it when it drops and it's not smooth. So our Stinger is currently at 30 FPS. However,
not bad. Yeah.
We're doing what we can. It looks great. I'm gonna need to talk to Kiri about getting our main backgrounds. I'm gonna need to get the blank ones, because currently, as it sits, I'm showing this off for the broadcast, by the way. Your icon would need to be changed to what we have now for the Discord stream kit. So, just an FYI, I could just talk to him, talk about getting those blank, and then when we get back to our normal in a couple weeks, we can have what we have now with Discord Stream Kit. You notice how whenever somebody starts speaking, their profile icon jumps a little bit?
Scarfy's doubled.
Yeah, that was in the previous one. But we got that working, thanks to Kiri. But
yes, thank you very much, Kiri.
And with it being our final show, we not final show of the season or final show of all time. It's the final show of the year 2020. We're still going to continue this current season of Subwoofer Entertainment in a couple weeks.
Yes, we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to that. But guys, anyway, S.E.T has been brought to you by Streamlabs. We are a non-profit podcast, but we use this as our go-to for making more episodes and helping you be bigger and better than ever before by purchasing equipment or other visual means. Please don't feel obligated. We are not asking for money to pay the rent, but if you have the heart to donate, it is greatly appreciated. So, it's kind of funny. Like yesterday, me and Naka and Kiri were kind of scrambling as to how to make these animations, move so that we didn't have to use the Discord widget, because we have the Discord widget for backup just in case you need to know who's talking and all that good stuff. But now we have this.
Yep, it's
this,
down here
guys.
next to the microphone icon. I turned it on.
We have
turning it back on.
Some nice things.
But who needs that when we have pictures that move and light up when we talk? Isn't that great?
Yep.
It's like saying,
anyway,
watch this. Jump. Okay, I hope that did it. Okay.
We're going to get into holiday festivities probably at the very end of our show, because we have a lot to talk about when it comes to that. But we have a ginormous agenda to cover, and I think it's best if we go ahead and take it over to Kruz with what's going on in the musical world, because there really isn't a whole lot except for, the big stuff. Is there, Kruz?
Yeah, the biggest impact of 2020 on the music world is for sure been like concerts, live shows, festivals. Some bands have adapted to do stream certain shows online. There's been some
Psychostick.
drive-in concerts. Yeah, Psychostick's done it. Trivium's done it. I think Behemoth did it too. But there were some things we did miss that were postponed to 2020, namely the much anticipated returns of Rage Against the Machine and My Chemical Romance, who were supposed to go on tour. Not together, but it's supposed to be a whole reunion tour thing, and that kind of got axed because it kind of came at the wrong time. Albums were delayed from some bands like A Day to Remember, Evanescence, Weezer, Megadeth, Mastodon, and Gojira, although Gojira did release a new single called Another World, which, is pretty good. Hopefully, again, they get to the album soon. I already mentioned live shows being not much of a thing anymore. However, there have been some special things bands have been working on. Sabaton had a bunch of music videos for, this past one, September 15th, they did for the Future of Warfare. That was a special day because that was the day in 1916, I don't remember history, that the first time tanks were used in warfare. And that's why it's called Future Warfare. And it was a really cool video made with Legos, stop motion. There's another animated video for Nightwishes. And recently, I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but there was another similar one to Nightwishes animated video for what's called No Bullets Fly, about Franz Stegler and Charlie Brown incidents in the B-17 bomber that has probably one of my favorite names for a plane, Ye Old Pub.
B-17 bomber.
Balmer.
Does anybody not remember the IntelliVoice for the Intellivision? Am I the only one?
I don't remember at all. No.
Am I the only one who's
I don't remember at all.
Intellivision?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, don't you have you have albums to talk about, don't you, Kruz?
Yeah, there are some good notes. Some things I got from the video Loudwire, Gruhamed talking about why things about 2020 sucked. Though there were good things. Tool won a Grammy for Zempist, styled as 7 Empist, best metal performance for the previous Grammys. Dave Mustaine beat Throat Cancer, which, he was confident in. Even when he announced it, he was like, "We're gonna beat this. I'm gonna beat this. Don't worry about me. I'm gonna fight to the end." He's I believe it's been called Cancer Free, and work can resume on the album if stuff isn't done already. There have been surprise returns of Blue Öyster Cult and AC/DC. Those we'll also talk about a little bit later. New music from System of a Down, although unfortunately inspired by Less Than Ideal Circumstances, but it was for a good cause, for Artsakh. We talked about that in detail when those songs were announced. Metallica has been reportedly working on new music during quarantine, and as I wear my Hellyeah shirt, Hellyeah frontman Chad Gray is hopeful that the band will have new music in the future, even though Tom Maxwell was unsure if they wanted to continue because of the passing of Vinnie Paul. And though there is this doesn't so anyway, they have Ray Mayorga from Stone Sour, who is now on a more permanent hiatus. Basically, Corey Taylor has said we'll get back to it if we feel like it. Basically, everyone in the band is working on their own stuff, but that would mean, I would think, that Ray is available for drumming. But the thing is that Vinnie Paul has been such a staple of the band for so long. Pretty much their entire thing, and
Apparently, Foo Fighters are working on something new too. Huh? Interesting.
I mean, that's
I don't think.
all great. I would
I
love
know
to hear
one
some
person
more
who's
new stuff
probably
from.
like about that Foo Fighters announcement because Hex, you know who I'm talking about, I think, or Fawnins at least told me it's like, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Foo Fighters because they were in a band in high school and played a lot of Foo Fighters in that high school band and bad memories. That's a non sequitur. Let's go on, Kruz.
Anyway, this has been a process that's been thought about as these albums were released. I've started doing this like the fourth time now. If I recall some past winners, we had, I want to say, Sabaton, Last Stand, The Grinding Wheel from Overkill, and what was the last one? 2018. I think it was Firepower, and 2019, last year's, was another Overkill album, I believe, which was what's it? Wings of War. Okay. Anyway, 2020, as problematic as the year has been, it did get quite a lot of awesome music this year, and I've put together a list of top 10 albums, including some honorable mentions, and joining late in the game at number 10 is Genesis 19 from Sodom. This, I think, was the most recent of these albums to be released, and admittedly, I should have listened to Sodom a long time ago, being that thrash metal is one of my favorite metal genres. Having finally done so, I immediately loved it. It's just full no-nonsense, full throttle, Pelton metal thrash, and with the kind of garage band style, scrappy production reminiscent of the glory days of thrash in the 80s. Sounds like it was a lost album that resurfaced, but no, this is 2020 material. Along with Testament and Sepultura, 2020 showed that thrash metal is still very much alive and well. And with an honorable mention, and these are about top songs, not about the honorable mentions of albums. With an honorable mention for the best song in the album, the honorable mention is Glock and Roll, which I love the wordplay, and also the solo is pretty fucking epic. But the favorite, as soon as I heard it, I knew, like, oh my god, it's so good. The Harpooner, an epic 7-minute thrash masterpiece with the chef's kiss, delectable riff, and a reference and lyrics referencing Moby Dick. So, yeah, these metalheads, these degenerates, are actually some learned folk. Who would have thunk it? It's almost like we're normal people too. Then whatever. That's not a thing. That's not the problem. But I think that just having listen to this all the way through the album, it's like what's not to love about it? Although that does mean some songs kind of get lost in the mix of being like, yeah, well, they're all fast and stuff. But when you have real awesome riffs that just sound pure evil, you gotta love it. Anyway.
All right. Do you have any transition pieces? Because this is honestly, Dave Grohl is a horrible person. See, that's the thing. I'm interrupting you, Kruz. Like, I've heard conflicting things about Dave Grohl, because there was things about how he didn't believe in AIDS, but that was like in the 90s and early 2000s, and has since changed. And it's a slippery slope. I don't want to get into that. That's a different discussion for a different time. Probably not even this platform, but Kruz, go ahead with number 9.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, cancel culture and everything. Well, whatever. Now, get into Human Nature from Nightwish. And Nightwish is a band that, despite changes at the helm, now is currently Flor Jansen singing. Yes, her name is Flor. remains at the top of their game. Human Nature makes it clear that each song had a lot of thought and effort put into it. Each song is a journey in and of itself, intentionally crafted with a specific concept in mind. In addition to the main album, the band's primary songwriter, keyboardist Tuomas Holopainen, included a soundtrack of his own called All the Works of Nature Which Adorn the World. This bonus instrumental section feels like it could be an epic movie soundtrack on its own. The favorite of these songs for me was a unique one called Harvest. It's slow burn, but it turns into a real epic, chill-inducing folk metal jam complete with bagpipes. Okay, now.
Pipes.
They're calling. They're calling you Fate. Okay. Full disclosure, while some people resent the band for being too, air quote, mainstream, Five Finger Death Punch has stayed true to one thing, and that's making metal with a message that resonated with a lot of people. At some points, it seemed like everything would fall apart. Ivan Moody's struggles with alcoholism and rehab and the departure of Jeremy Spencer were among the adversities facing the band. And Justice for None was a subpar album for the band, even though, of course, there were some good songs within it. And having been through many trials, the band has emerged stronger than ever before with their best album since American Capitalist, Fate, stylized as F8, in a sense it's their 8th album. And like Sepultura, they paid homage to their own past with the song Death Punch Therapy. Where's it? It put forth new kick-ass songs like Bottom of the Top, To Be Alone, and This Is War, among others. Top song hard to pick, but This Is War was the most reminiscent of the aptly named War is the Answer era, and features a refreshingly aggressive riff and pace, especially considering what it was. There were lack of faster-paced songs on Injustice for None. And, well, the reason they're on this list is because I've been a fan of them for quite a while. And I think that they had a bit of a slump, because they got Your Six, it was like, all right. And then and then Injustice for None happened, and it's kind of like, well, this is kind of just like lackluster for them. And then there's other people complaining, oh, they all sound the same. So, yeah, but people still like AC/DC, so, I mean,
For the record, I love that you put F8 on the number 8 spot. Just had to throw that out there.
Yeah, it kind of just happened, and I realized that is it on the 8th spot, but it just because of where it was ranked among the other ones. And this is a personal list in terms of like my personal enjoyment of them. Hence why almost pretty much all of them are just at least rock or metal based. Again, that's what I get to do here. This is my favorite thing. This is like as a Pro ZD gif of the I like that thing. I think Death Punch is still doing well. Like they made a real good, solid album this year, and hopefully the future is still going to be strong for them because Jason Hook is departing from the band. He's one of the guitar players along with Zoltan Bathory, who so I don't really know what they're going to do next, but right now they're I feel like they're in a good spot, the best spot that they could be. Well, I mean, you can obviously tell the ballads apart from the other types of songs. I do agree. It's like when a band has a formula that is like sounds kind of samey. Sure, yeah. As a fan of Five Finger Death Punch, I'm like, yeah, I know there's quite a lot of songs that do sound like quite similar to other ones, and their song structure is pretty was pretty predictable, but for me, it's like I still enjoy it, and there's enough differences of the songs that I feel like, this is why I like this one better than some other ones versus just like throwing an aggressive riff at me and being like, yeah, sure, versus one that's like, oh shit, that's actually good. That's what I thought when I've heard This Is War, and that was what made it hopeful that this was going to be a good album when they released a little bit teaser of it, of Zoltan playing that opening riff. Oh god, yeah, I actually did see Pierce the Veil. Well, I wasn't. It was a Rise Against concert, and Pierce the Veil was a support act. And my friends and we just left to get food when Pierce the Veil came on. The next, yeah, they're kind of one of those hot topic bands, I guess you'd call it. 7.
Pierce the Veil, yes. Rise Against, no. This one especially not.
Yeah.
Number 7.
The Curse of the Crystal Coconut. Alestorm. Alright, Alestorm. You know the drill. They are, and have always been, a band that puts having fun as its top priority. The pirate metal pioneers took that gimmick and haven't stopped running with it, and doesn't seem like they plan to stop anytime soon. The ornery, foul-mouthed, party-loving, and rum-drinking band pairs their always pirate-themed lyrics with varying levels of goofiness, with excellent metal riffs, while always remembering never to take themselves too seriously. Partially due to being a Florida Gators fan, but mostly due to the fact of it being the awesome metal riff with Hurdy-Gurdy in the mix. Chomp Chomp was easily my favorite song from this album. And
yeah, Alestorm plays really good stuff.
Yeah, and there was also the single they released a little bit later, Big Ship, Little Ship, which was also quite good. And they also did feature Hurdy-Gurdy, which you don't know what that is. It's a crank box, and you press down keys, and depending on what you press, it pushes down the string to play a certain note. But you're constantly cranking it, so it's constantly making a sound. Anyway.
Now, I can't remember, was Shitboat No Fans off of this album, or was that the previous album?
That was this one. The big goofy song of the last album, No Grave But to See, was Fucked With an Anchor, with the hilarious version of it on YouTube that censors every word except for fuck or any swear words, and it's real funny.
And then they also did a version where it was Disney friendly, so it's like
I think that's what it was. Well, they call it Disney version, but it was the fuck beep fuck.
And then I forget, was there Curse the Crystal Coconut for Dogs version of any of these songs? Was there for Dogs version of this album?
I believe so. On that note, they did sneak Dog Bark into Pirate Metal Drinking Crew at one part. And if you're wondering what they're talking about, the band has done versions of their songs where they replace all the lyrics with dogs barking, and just because they can.
Because we know it would piss off fans.
Alright, give me 1 second.
Scarfy, calm down.
I have to share food.
But
okay.
we should get things going.
Yeah.
We should.
Ow! Shit! I need to put this down. Okay.
Number 6.
Now, time to power up. AC/DC. So, the most impressive thing about this album may well just be the fact that it even got made. With Brian Johnson's hearing issues, legal troubles of drummer Phil Rudd, and the planned retirement of bassist Cliff Williams, as well as the death of Malcolm Young, AC/DC's future. Yeah, it looked bleak at best. And the concert I went to in 2016, that was when Brian Johnson was out, so Axl Rose filled in. He did a damn good job. They used former drummer Chris Slade. So, I mean, they had a guy, but Phil Rudd's kind of... I think he's been with the band longer. Where's this? Stevie Young, the nephew of Malcolm and Angus, has been filling in for Malcolm since his passing. And after this, Brian's hearing scare was resolved with, if I remember correctly, a specially designed kind of hearing aid that reduces the intensity of incoming noise, something like that. Phil Rudd's legal troubles were resolved, and Cliff Williams decided to return. So, as it stood, the band was back. With many of the core members present, the band began writing a new album with what Brian Johnson called a bucket load of ideas from Angus. The result is a refreshing dose of signature AC/DC rock and roll. With an honorable mention to Code Red, the top track of this album has to be the Highway Jam Demon Fire, which in the music video for that song, you'll see this one's for Mal at some point in the video, and they've said that before, that this album was for Malcolm, and Johnson himself said, I think he would be proud of us. And that's the band's way of paying tribute to their fallen brother, who really been the backbone of the band for so many years alongside his brother. So it's a good triumph of an album, if nothing else. So we're halfway through.
Number five.
Number 5, 5 words. Civis pacem para bellum. If you want peace, prepare for war. Now, Seether has been a favorite of mine since about the 4th grade. The previous album, Poison the Parish, was overall well received and featured a logo change from the band, which you'll see on this album as well. And I already said what Civis pacem para bellum means. It's arguably the band's best album since Karma and Defect. With a mix of harsh and mellow tracks, the album features some real high-quality music from Seether. The only reason that, for me, picking the favorite song from this was easy is because it was the heaviest song, titled Beg. With Sean screaming, "Beg, motherfucker," like a madman in the chorus. It's got to be one of the most aggressive Seether songs I've ever heard, and overall, this album was just a real treat for me, especially because I just love this band and I've been listening to them for so long. And when they really come out and just make something that's like real, it's just real high quality stuff. You'll love to see it, you know. And another number pun. Quadra, 4. Quadra means 4. Sepultura. And this may well be the best that the band has sounded since Derek Green took over frontman duties. I say that, but additionally, no founding members remain, although Andreas Kasser, the guitar player, has been with the band since 1987, having been formed in 1984. In a deliberately constructed album, the band divided 12 tracks into 4 sections relating to the title Quadra, which also refers to the 4 arts: math, geometry, music, and astronomy. The first section is the thrash section, calling back to the band's original sound and consisting of songs Isolation, Means to an End, and Last Time. The second section is the groove percussion sound from the Roots era, consisting of Capital Enslavement, Ali, and Raging Void. The third section is inspired by the acoustic track from Machine Messiah, the previous album from 2017 called Iceberg Dances, and the accompanying progressive rock metal sound consisting of Guardians of Earth, The Pentagram, and Autem. And Autem is also Latin, and it means however. The fourth and final section includes slower melodic tracks like the title track of the previous album, Machine Messiah, and consists of the title track, Quadra, which is a short, traditional style Brazilian classical guitar arrangement. At least that's what Andres Kisser says. The agony of defeat and fear, pain, chaos, suffering, which the last song features vocals from Emily Barreto, the vocalist of a fellow Brazilian band far from Alaska. The quality and diversity of this album, I think, really sets it apart from the other metal albums of 2020. The honorable mention for best song goes to Ali, which is a pummeling metal tribute to the great boxer Muhammad Ali and his journey growing up as Cassius Clay and experiencing and resisting racism in America and taking stand for his beliefs by refusing to fight in Vietnam. Very contemporary. Probably for this year, I would say.
And sorry to interrupt, and a bit appropriate for this show, because that's going to tie into something we're talking about later, that little bit about Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali.
Correct.
We'll get to that. But go ahead.
Right.
Yes, we'll get to that.
Right, that is true. And in a similar vein, the top song of this album has to be the first one to me, Isolation, which directly references mass incarceration in an unrelenting powerhouse of a thrash song. It's so good. It's just textbook, aggressive, fast-paced riff. Derek's vocals are just out of this world. And I think they did a real great job in making this album. And although it just falls short of the top three, now we're in the real heavyweights. Heavy, because the symbol remains. This is where Blue Öyster Cult has returned. This one came out of nowhere, as few people, including the band members themselves, expected a new album anytime soon, since it was, to them, more... It was a better option to just continue touring versus making a new album, because they weren't sure how well it would sell. The band was content with touring, as was said. After a falling out with their previous record label, it didn't seem likely that the band would be in a position to release a new album anyway. However, the Italian record label Frontier Records came to the rescue, and BOC went to work. The album cover appropriately describes its contents, as the band itself has acknowledged that they're not only back, but back stronger than ever, as their famous hook and cross logo is crushing what looks like a Parthenon or something like that. There's an excellent album cover. And the album itself contains a wide variety of rock tracks, tapping into the band's signature sci-fi weirdness and fascination with horror, mythology, fantasy, and the like. The top track on this album was also an easy choice, The Alchemist, based on the H.P. Lovecraft story of the same name. And with an appropriate mix of rock groove and spooky riffage, the song kicks into high gear with a solo reminiscent of Iron Maiden, complete with dueling lead guitars, and get this, double kick drums. BOC not only flexes their rock prowess here, they also show how they're part of laying down the blueprint for the evolution of heavy metal, and how they're very much continuing to be a part of it. So damn good. Now,
Number two,
what the dead men say, Trivium. And now, riding on the success / return to form of The Sin and The Sentence, Trivium kept the foot on the gas and put forth, arguably, an even better album. Once again, Alex, the octopus, bent. You'll understand why he has that nickname if you ever see him drumming, because it looks like he's got 8 arms, because he can hit so many cymbals at, very quickly, and he looks like he's frantic, barely keeping up, but it just sounds perfect. It's fun to watch. Once again, Alex shows off his skills on the drums, while bassist Paolo and guitarist Corey Bielo and Matt Heafy all do their thing and do it well. What you have here is a complete album. No filler songs, no weak or overshadowed songs, just oops, all bangers. That, of course, meant that choosing a favorite was nearly impossible. So the honorable mentions go to Bending the Arc to Fear, and The Ones We Leave Behind. But the title track has to be the best one, What the Dead Men Say. Just quite simply heavy, melodic, and relentless. And, oh my god, Trivium... God, they continue to put forth a real fucking amazing album. But they're not quite number one. But this isn't also this is not the first time they've been in the top 3. I want to say Sin in the Sentence in 2017 was number 3.
Is it honorable mentions time?
Yeah. So now we get to the honorable mentions. These are ones that, to me, just kind of missed the cut, but I still wanted to give a shout out to them. There's Carnivore from Left to Right. There's Carnivore from Body Count, where Ice-T's metal band just continues to put forth another pummeling album. No Absolution by Lost Society. This Finnish thrash turned metalcore-ish band. While I do miss the thrash sound they used to put forth, I feel like they nailed the stylistic change, channeling the styles of bands like Trivium and Slipknot, also partnering with fellow Finnish band Apocalyptica on Into Eternity. And American Made, BPMD. The supergroup debuted with an album which full of covers featuring 70s American rock and roll classics such as Blue Öyster Cult, Van Halen, ZZ Top, Aerosmith, and more. So, if nothing else, that tells you how Blue Öyster Cult still very much relevant.
Van Halen,
Van Halen being it's all more appropriate that they had a tribute to Van Halen this year, although this was before Eddie sadly lost his battle with cancer. But, keeping the memory alive and, these are various band members' old favorites. And it's really cool to see that they just made this project work. And hopefully we'll get original music from them sometime in the future. I don't know what their plan is exactly, but we now have the top album of the year, which I think just blew everything else out of the water. Titans of Creation by Testament. Titans of Creation features Testament at their best with what iTunes calls arguably the most talented lineup in metal. The bellowing Chuck Billy, the guitar duo of Eric Peterson and Alex Skolnick, bassist Steve DiGiorgio, and the drum machine that is Gene Hoglan. This one was released fairly earlier in the year, in the before times, as I remember going to class and seeing that Night of the Witch had been just posted on YouTube. And upon listening to it, I knew that there would be few, if any, artists that could top the album that Testament had just put forth. The album is partially inspired by a trip the band took to Israel, leading to songs being written about Mediterranean/Babylonian/Egyptian history and mythology, which is Ishtar's Gate, Code of Hammurabi, and Curse of Osiris. The rest is inspired by cold-blooded, gruesome murder, City of Angels, False Prophet, horror and fantasy, Dream Deceiver, Night of the Witch, cult activity, Children of the Next Level, nuclear annihilation, World War III, and even mental health symptoms, as well as the healers who helped Chuck Billy in his battle with cancer, which this was not this year, when he had cancer. It was, I don't remember exactly, but it was not in 2020, I'll know that much. The album concludes with a recording of the band's concert intro music, titled, which fits with the mythological theme, Catacombs. Choosing a favorite song was still, it was really difficult, but with an honorable mention to World War III, because that song, it's a real pummeling song, and I've used that word a lot, but this one, when I listen to this, the bass roll, like where Steve just like that in that song shakes my car. And the favorite has to be The Healers, which is just classically done metal riff that chugs like a freight train and pummels the listener with Gene Hogan's relentless double bass in the song's verses. And although this is something that may be overblown in like how people say it, but Chuck Billy's voice has treated him well. He sounds like the best he's ever sounded. And I think the band altogether just put forth this. Wow, like this just, you know, I won. It just blew everything else out of the water. Like nothing was even close. Trivium, kind of close, but this was a real treat this year. Testament quickly becoming a real favorite of mine, especially being thrash metal. But yes, that is the last thing on my agenda. Testament, Titans of Creation, my favorite album of 2020. And now we're gonna go to the game world.
Well, I wasn't able to get this set up because I didn't get SoundPad working, but I just have one thing to say, and you're going to hear it on the stream. You're not going to hear it through my microphone, so sorry, Scarfy and Kruz, you're going to need to listen back to when my segment comes up in the VOD, but...
Damn it.
Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. Well, I had an epiphany about my segment because the only game that we're talking about for this show is Super Meat Boy Forever. And my friend Game was... she describes the game as Super Meat Boy Forever is a game that I've been waiting for forever. About fucking time, Edmund. And I thought, damn it, why did I not ask her to record like a little piece that I would play on the stream and have her basically explain why, you know, she's been waiting for this for so long, because it has been a bit fucky with development, but I only thought of that while Kruz is doing his segment, so damn it. But, like, you want to know how long people have been waiting for Super Meat Boy Forever? 2014. It was supposed to be a mobile port of Super Meat Boy, but it spent years in somewhat development hell, and I believe had a failed Kickstarter or two, I can't remember, and is finally releasing December 23rd for Windows on the Epic Games Store and the Nintendo Switch. Hello, Shudder. I found the Epic Game Store exclusivity out the night before writing this piece, and Wiz is very disappointed. She's been waiting forever for this game, and she has to wait longer because she doesn't like Epic Games, which is completely understandable. It's a new Super Meat Boy game with a new story, randomly generated levels, and all new controls. Edmund McMillan, the main developer, described the Epic exclusivity as a no-brainer in the year 2018, hence why it's getting a delayed release on Steam, set for some time in 2021. At least you can get it on the Switch in the meantime when it launches on the Epic Game Store on December 23rd, and supposedly it's coming to Linux. Don't know what platform that's going to be on. Mobile devices, PlayStation consoles, and Xbox consoles sometime in January of 2021.
Indeed. It's kind of interesting that Super Meat Boy is still a very, very popular game, but I am surprised that this game didn't come out until just now, for the Nintendo Switch at least. So it'll be interesting to see what they add to the table with this one.
Yeah, with no-brainers, I figured the no-brainer would be putting this on Switch, because
Exactly.
I think it's a similar style I don't know about. I should say similar style, like Celeste, like still like a platformer, wall jumping, based game. Super Meat Boy is one I haven't played myself, but it looks like something I'd have fun with. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Sometimes games just get stuck in the mud, and then choices get made by corporate, and you're like, they try to justify it, and then, yeah, well, guess what? It's here now. I guess that's the good news.
And this is the only new release worth talking about
Until next year.
until next year. I'm gonna bring up Cyberpunk 2077 again real quick because it has been pulled.
I was just about to ask you about that.
It has been pulled from the PlayStation Store for both PS4 and PS5. If you're buying it on Xbox, Microsoft has added a warning saying, yes, this game is especially for Xbox One players. Like, the game is very buggy, but there are updates coming to help fix the bugginess and performance issues.
Yeah.
I believe
it's not just the bugginess itself, but I don't know, you were probably gonna say it, but if the save data gets over a certain point, it just gets corrupted.
Oh yeah, it was recently revealed that if your save data gets over 8 megabytes, your save will start to get corrupted. So you might not want to keep so many items in your inventory. You're gonna bug on out, Shutter? Okay. You know, you do what you got to do, man. I'm not gonna hold you hostage, or we're not gonna hold you hostage, because you're an independent you're an independent wolf. You can do your own stuff.
Mayhaps a tongue-in-cheek joke about it. Yeah, well, this
Cyberjunk 2077. I'm gonna wait a couple months because I kind of want to play it on Xbox One, because at least I'll be able to play it offline. Whereas, I want to play it offline because it's most stable on the Google Stadia, but you have to always be online with that, and not everybody has the best internet connection for Stadia.
Yeah.
So,
the fun part about 2077, though, it's like sometimes the glitches are humorous. Best at Nothing, a YouTuber, is underrated in my mind. He played a bit of it and killed someone, and their head was like inside their own body, and they were still talking like they were alive. Weird shit happens. It's entertaining, but ultimately, sometimes it gets to the point where it just like makes the game not fun.
Yeah.
I believe if you bought a copy at Best Buy for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, or the Xbox Series line of consoles, if you bought it at Best Buy, at least in the US, you have until tomorrow to get a full refund, even if it's opened. But now we must move on to my games of 2020. It's that time of year where I go over my favorite games. We did see a lot of re-releases and remasters this year, and those will be included. And if a game came out of early access on Steam, I did count it. Like Car and Driver's 10 Best, there's no overall ranking besides what I feel is my favorite game in 2020. Keep in mind that these will be games that have released that I have played in 2020. Not that I've seen gameplay of or have watched others play. I want to make that down. I wrote for my notes, I'm going to pick and choose which ones I talk about in order, and then save the winner for last. So, my first game that I'm talking about, well, I mean, you could see it as a game, but it's Microsoft Flight Simulator. Holy shit. Sure, you need a monster of a computer to play it without closing everything else in your computer, and an Xbox version is coming, but the fact that I can fly from any airport in the entire world in real time with real weather data, that's something that's never been done before. I can fly a small little plane out of Boeing Field, aka King County International Airport, and fly to Orcas Island where my family lives, and that's in the San Juan Islands in Washington State. Or I could take a Boeing 787 out of Renton Municipal Airport and try to land it at a tiny airport somewhere around the world. And when I say the entire world, I mean a 1-to-1 scale used with thanks in part to satellite imagery from Bing Maps. Next, it's a game that should have won a lot more awards that it was nominated for, but Last of Us 2 just had to pay the money. Doom Eternal. I'm a bit late to play this one, mainly only because I've been playing it for about a week and a half. However, in that time, the gameplay is so smooth. It kicks your ass on higher difficulties, and the sound design and soundtrack. Oh my god, the soundtrack.
It's a real shame they pissed off Mick Gordon, but he put forth a real kick-ass follow-up to the Doom 2016 soundtrack, and I can tell you that the music in the DLC is likewise kick-ass.
Let's see. Next game. SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated.
Yay!
Well, it was rushed and a bit jank thanks to Nickelodeon wanting it out by a certain deadline and not allowing the developers to delay the game again so that they could fix issues. Like on launch, you could beat the game within 2 minutes due to a taxi glitch, which has been patched out. It's nice that I'm able to take one of, if not the best, SpongeBob games with me wherever I go because it's on the Switch. The switch from the RATM engine to the new Unreal Engine is a bit shocking, especially physics-wise, but graphically it looks great. Gameplay-wise, it's still the same, just, there's engine differences that you have to get around. I got used to it. I got used to it pretty quickly and brought back all the memories of years past.
And I have to bring this up. I am so glad that they turned the knockback down way good. Like they turned the knockback way down because it was horrible in the original. And they fixed up the graphical glitches with the, colors in certain dark areas that was just very bleak. And thankfully they made it so that it's bright enough so where you can actually see where you're going. Which thank God, because yeah. So, but yeah, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, great game. If you ever get the chance to play it, go do it.
All right, and next up, another remaster/remake, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. A complete package of Need for Speed 2010 Hot Pursuit for PC players. I don't know how Stellar Entertainment does it, taking great-looking Criterion racers and making them look better, but they managed to nail it with Hot Pursuit 2010, an already beautiful-looking game. Cross-platform multiplayer is a very, very, very big nice, and while I don't own the Switch version, which I hope to eventually, it's actually really good. Sure, it's scaled down, it's only going to run 720p, and it's going to be at a lower frame rate, but considering what hardware it's running on, Hot Pursuit 2010 looks and plays great on the Nintendo Switch.
The only version I played was on the Wii.
Which is
I believe that's
different.
Yeah, was it a little more? Was it like a specifically different version from other consoles?
Let's see, the Wii version was different, the mobile version was different, the console versions and the PC version were pretty much the same, except the PC version never originally got the Porsche DLC, it's the DLC with the Bugatti and the Gumpert Apollo, and it never got the Lamborghini DLC. Those are the 3 DLCs that PC never got.
Dang.
Now, if we move on.
Yeah, like I say, I guess they have it now in this one.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Now, we move on to Black Mesa. Yes, it's been in early access for years. I will count it as an official release for 2020 as its full release because it released in March. This is a beautiful reimagining of the original Half-Life Half-Life, the original game that basically put Valve on the map, breaking boundaries with the Source engine. If you love Half-Life, this is a great game to grab on Steam. Fitting how we got Half-Life VR, but the AI self-aware in the same year, though that was just Gary's mod and the virtual reality mod for it. And we also got Half-Life Alyx. I don't have a VR headset, and I haven't played it myself, so that's why it's not on this list. Though if I did have both, it would be on here. Next up, another late game for me, Project Cars 3. And I do want to bring something up real quick because Electronic Arts is buying Codemasters for $1.2 billion. I wanted to bring this up now. I probably should have brought it up at the beginning of the segment, but I figured I'm talking about Slightly Mad Studios, Codemasters. It gets kind of intertwined. So, about a month ago, or within the past couple weeks, Take-Two was in the rumblings of buying Codemasters for like $800 million, 800 million pounds. I can't remember because Codemasters is a UK-based company. But then EA set their foot in the ring with a higher bid. And then I thought there was going to be a pissing match between Take-Two, who own 2K. They're the guys that they're the people behind Rockstar. So NBA 2K, Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption 2. That's those guys. What I can see from this buyout is that Slightly Mad Studios had worked for EA in the past, developing Need for Speed Shift and Shift 2 Unleashed. And Project Cars 3 is pretty much Need for Speed Shift 3, which is always what I thought Need for Speed Shift should have been from the get-go. Because that's what this game plays like, and I'm fine with that.
I had Shift on the iPad.
But
it's the same core game, but yeah.
So there's that. Codemasters develops the annual release Formula 1 titles. They also have the WRC World Rally Championship license now, and they've got a couple other franchises in their books that sell well, like Grid 2019, which came out last year. Dirt 5 came out this year. Dirt Rally 2.0 is a great sim rally game. So there's a lot of good that can come out of this, but there's also a lot of bad because it's EA. We all know their track record of buying up studios and then pissing them away for a couple years after they're bought. But Project Cars 3. Slightly Mad Studios went in a bit of an odd direction with this game, making it a simcade racer instead of a simulation racer like the first two Project Cars games were. It reminds me a lot of their previous work with Need for Speed Shift and Shift 2, and it blends in with Drive Club, which is a PS4 racer made by, I believe, Evolution Studios, but I never got the chance to play Drive Club, unfortunately. Factor out the series' previous titles. It's a great game, which is what I do. I also forgot to put in Project Cars 3 in the chat. Oops. But next up, I get to talk about a great little indie title, Moving Out. Developed primarily by SMG Studios and published by Team 17, it crosses moving furniture and Overcooked for a great gameplay experience. There's a lot of accessibility features and assist modes, aka the game will not punish you if you need help playing. Up to 4-person local co-op, which is, typical for SMG Studios games. It's a really fun family game as well. I feel like it should have been nominated for Family Game this year at the Game Awards. Even if it got nominated, I would have been happy. But it's a really fun experience that gets slept out on. And there is some DLC in the works. I can't talk about that. All I know is that there is something coming. Well, it's being teased on their Twitter pages, so it's...
You mentioned Overcooked, and it does look like an Overcooked. The logo looks pretty similar, and style of the animation. Overcooked is a game I haven't played, but I've watched. It looks so much like chaotic fun, and this one is kind of like, if it's anything like that, I think, it's excellent. indie game, and indie games, some of them break out, like Undertale, stuff like that, but some of them kind of get slept on, and yeah, this is the thing that I like to do also, is shout out ones that I think are underrated, like that's why I said Best at Nothing.
I'm always going to have a Moving Out looks like it was based on Dire Straits' Money for Nothing video. I have not watched that, so I cannot confirm if your comparison works or does not work. So, but that gives me something to look at, and I will confirm after the show. And I'm always going to have a leg out or an arm out for Team 7 for SMG Studios, because they allowed me to go to PAX West for 2 years. And I love supporting indie developers because there's a lot of fantastic titles that usually get slept on. And you know, with Hades being nominated for Game of the Year this year, that's an indie title for sure. That, you know, I want more indie games to be more mainstream, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think that at least on the Switch, on the eShop, they do a good job of just like putting out these games, or they look like indie games, or to call it nindies, I think is the term.
Yeah.
Also, just saw that Among Us was on Switch for only $5.
Mm-hmm. By the way, holiday sale. If you want to buy SMG Studios' previous title, Death Squared, it is 99 cents on the US Nintendo eShop. If you want a great puzzle game, there you go. Next, we move on to another sleeper indie title, Hot Shot Racing. A fun indie title that pays homage to arcade races in the 90s in its gameplay and style, you know, along the lines of Sega Super GT / Scud Race, Daytona USA, Virtual Racer, those titles.
I think Daytona USA is the one I played the most. It's the one that it starts you off like already moving.
Yeah.
It's like, great, awesome, stuff like that. I love it.
Fun, satisfying gameplay with that early to mid 90s 3D aesthetic makes for a great overall game that's recently been updated for, you know, bug fixes and stuff with new tracks and a new game mode.
Right.
And for my personal overall game of the year, the one I had the most fun with, the one that's been polished the best, and the one I've put a lot of time into, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2. It won Best Sports / Racing Game, though that category should be a separate category at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
It doesn't help, I guess, that they call it motorsports.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to spell it out. It's called Scud Race in Europe and Japan, but it's known as Sega Super GT in the US. But yeah, they changed the name because of, you know, the relation to Scud missiles. But Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. A faithful reimagining of the first two Tony Hawk Pro Skater titles, but adding in so much more in terms of customization, new skaters, new music, mechanics from newer games to rack up massive combos, but still able to keep the charm that the series had from the original titles. Initially, you would only go through the career once with one skater, do all the goals, and then any other skater that you played with, you'd get their stat points. Now, a couple updates after that, you can now go through the career mode with every single skater, do all the goals with that one skater, and get all the stat points, the secret tapes, and the reason why they're secret tapes is because you'd be doing like a skate tape, like a demo tape. But it is the best overall reimagining of the Tony Hawk franchise. Pro Skater HD sucked shit. Pro Skater 5 was god-awful. But a lot of people didn't know what to expect with Pro Skater 1 and 2, but the fact that it delivered so well blew a lot of people's minds, because taking the previous titles in the franchise's record, they were terrible. Robomoto drove the series into the ground, but Vicarious Visions brought the series back to life.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was skeptical at first because, it's Activision. They're going to find some scummy way to fuck things up. They haven't. The only paid DLC so far are charity-based, are, you know, the funds go to charity. There's 2 DLC packs right now where all the proceeds will go to a charity that's listed with the DLC, that's great. For the complete package, everything surrounding it, the most fun for like more people, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2 is my personal favorite game that I've played in 2020.
Yeah, I think the game that I was hyped most for is Doom Eternal. And again, I said this before, but I thought it would be real cool if one of them won Game of the Year. By that I mean Animal Crossing or Doom Eternal. One of them did it, so the other congratulates the other. It'd been a really cool moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah. Another one I want to shout out that I've had a lot of fun with, and I've actually got as a gift to my sister for Christmas, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Holy shit, it is a beautiful game. Frustrating as hell, but beautiful.
Yeah, and I just want to bring out my favorite games of the year. I played Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was a fantastic game. If you ever get the chance to own a PS4 or even a PS5, even though I don't really recommend getting a PS5 until at least a year passes, but that's another story for another day. I also played Persona 5 Royal, which I really enjoyed. I still have other PS4 games that I need to play. I'm also playing Final Fantasy IX for the PS1 on the PS4. So as you can see, yeah, I'm a casual gamer here and there, and I've been so busy with a lot of other things, trying to improve my skills, trying to do all that because I gotta,
in other words, trying to get good
at life in a sense, because I still have to work on a lot of different things. But hey, that is my video game stuff, really. But I'm glad that Tony Hawk is doing very well. More than very well, actually. So I hope there's another sequel to this, hopefully.
Maybe Pro Skater 3 and 4, but time will tell. But that is it for me for this year, for content-wise. It's time to transition into Scarfy with movies. And
all right. Well, I've
already read about this first one, but I do need to use the restroom, so let's get into things.
Well, I'm not going to go to the movie just yet. I do need to talk about some things, but go ahead and use the restroom.
No. Go ahead. I can wait a couple minutes.
So I didn't have a top 20 or top 10 list of movies this year because, I mean, guys, can you really blame me? Movies have been piss poor.
They've been all over the place. Not only just releases and everything.
Like, there hasn't been a whole lot of distribution when it comes to movies. It's hard for me to find anything. Like, there really wasn't anything to talk about. Like, how am I supposed to talk about the movie when most people haven't even seen it and theaters are all closed? Usually most theaters are closed, so it doesn't make any sense for me to talk about this sort of thing. So you hope to become a Twitch affiliate? No, but I hope to become a YouTube affiliate because Twitch has been making very, very stupid decisions. But and that's saying a lot considering that YouTube tends to make decisions. They just do it in different ways.
Not only that, but they also double down on those terrible decisions.
Exactly. So, unfortunately, there isn't much of a release date for me. So, we just have a lot to talk about. I mean, there really isn't much for me to talk about in terms of, top 10 or top 5 films of this year because there wasn't a lot of movies coming out this year, guys. And the movies that did come out this year, they were all sporadic. All of them were going to streaming services. We couldn't really talk about them. We also had, in our very first season, we had a huge mishap happen in March because, productions were closing, theaters were closing because of the pandemic. It was really quite a mess. There really wasn't much for me to say. So once again, I apologize, but
I forgot hearing about that. Twitch banned the words.
Simping version. Yeah.
They just wanted to nip it in the bud, just cut that shit out. No one is simping for anybody.
Yeah, except usage of the word simp went up, I believe. Just to spite.
Yeah,
it's almost like banning a word doesn't work.
Just like the phrase "okay, boomer." Okay.
Yeah, they'll ban those words, but they won't ban actual slurs that actually hurt people. They won't officially ban like actual slurs, but they'll ban stupid internet words like simp. God damn, Twitch is backwards, but let's
just talk about Wolf. Let's get going. I don't want to just talk about Wolfwalkers. But then again, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to movies. There's a whole heap of movies coming out this holiday season, so let's get right to it. Well, no one saw this coming. We Can Be Heroes is an upcoming American superhero film written, directed, and cinematography by Robert Rodriguez. The film stars Priyanka Chopra, Haley Reinhart, Pedro Pascal, Yaya Goslin, Boyd Holbrook, Sung Kang, Taylor Dooley, and Christian Slater. When alien invaders kidnap Earth's superheroes, the kids are whisked away to a government safe house, but whip-smart teen Missy Moreno will stop at nothing to rescue her superhero dad, Marcus Moreno. Missy teams up with the rest of the super kids to escape their mysterious government babysitter, Miss Granada. If they're going to save their parents, they will have to work together by using their individual powers, from elasticity to time control to predicting the future, and form an out-of-this-world team. Also, if you guys couldn't tell, there's a certain plot thread that seems familiar. That's right. This film serves as a standalone sequel to The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Only no Taylor Lautner, aka Jacob Black from Twilight, present to reprise his role as Shark Boy. Do I even really need to go into detail about this movie? I mean, we all know it's from Robert Rodriguez, the director of Sin City, Machete, and the Spy Kids films. Why on earth is he returning for this film? But at the very least, I am kind of happy he's chosen a group of nobodies to be in this film, and I mean that in the best way. Perhaps a child actor or two can establish a resume with this movie. I'm also impressed to see Taylor Dooley reprise her role as Lava Girl, and she's almost well into her mid to late 20s with it. Just a shame she hasn't been in anything else of note. Unfortunately, though, there's not much for me going for this film, at least for me. But hey, if it will keep your kids interested on Christmas Day, the film releases on December 25th on Netflix if they have nothing better to do. Now, I have a plot thread that I need to talk about, and I know what you're thinking. Scarfy, why did you take your time to watch Shark Boy and Lava Girl? It was a kid's movie. I was a kid. What else was I supposed to watch?
I mean, I watched Spy Kids. I don't think I watched the Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but I did watch all the Spy Kids ones.
So I do have to bring up an interesting plot thread in Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Lava Girl is literally a person that you literally cannot touch. You can't touch her. She's the second you touch her, you burn. So how on earth did Shark Boy and Lava Girl have a kid? That doesn't make any sense at all. Like, how did they fuck? I'm sorry. I have to bring that up. Like,
I have to ask the question. That sounds like a George Carlin bit, and he's like, when I see two real fat people, I'm like, do these people fuck? Are they capable of fucking? Yeah.
I
have to ask the question.
I mean, like, I hate to be blunt about it, but that doesn't make any sense. That really doesn't make any sense. I mean, like, what do you have to say regarding all that, Naka?
I'm concerning about your thought process, and B, I don't really care about this movie, gotta say. Sure, it's probably going to be fun for the kids and who really remember fucking Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but for me,
Yeah, you remember Spy Kids 2. even though Spy Kids 2 was pretty good, but hey. You're typing. Why are you?
I'm typing a message for the chat.
Gotcha. So
these are the questions that kept me out of the really good schools.
Yeah. So that's the biggest question that I'm currently thinking of when it comes to typical bullshit. But anyway, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of waiting for you to stop typing so I can transition. It's okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our next film with Sylvie's Love. Well, it's time to see what Amazon has up their sleeve for the Christmas holiday. Sylvie's Love is a 2020 American drama film written, directed, and produced by Eugene Ash. It stars Tessa Thompson, Nnamdi Osamuga, Ryan Michelle Bathe, and Regé Jean Page, Aja Naomi King, and Eva Longoria. Robert, a saxophonist, spends late nights behind a less talented but well-known band leader as members of a jazz quartet. Sylvie, who dreams of a career in television, spends her summer days helping around her father's record store. As she waits for her fiancé to return from war, when Robert takes a part-time job at the record store, the two begin a friendship that sparks a deep passion in each of them, unlike anything they've ever felt before. As the summer winds down, life takes them in different directions, bringing their relationship to an end. Years pass, Sylvie's career as a TV producer blossoms, while Robert has come to terms with what the age of Motown is doing to the popularity of jazz. In a chance meeting, Sylvie and Robert cross paths yet again, only to find that while their lives have changed, their feelings for each other remain the same. Eugene Ash, the director and writer, combines romance and music into a sweeping story that brings together changing times, a changing culture, and the true price of love. According to his IMDb page, this film looks like to be his big break, trying to get out of the door in order to be someone. And by looks of things, this movie at the very least looks almost sort of like La La Land meets Far From Heaven. There's just something about it that brings the sort of spark in this trailer. The film has reportedly been getting good reviews, and Oscar season has in fact started, so it's best we take all the time we can get from here and hopefully see what is in store. The film will be released on Amazon Prime Video on December 23rd. It says 25th in the trailer for some reason, but keep in mind that Christmas is usually an estimate day. Some movies don't release exactly on Christmas, but all the more to keep you cozy for the holidays. I mean, it does look like a very nice looking film at the very least. It's not one that I am personally like, it's not one that I really want to go out and see. But hey, it has Tessa Thompson. It has these other characters. I want to see what it has to offer, at least for me. Naka, Kruz, what do you think?
Me, not so much. I'm a big dumb dork, and I prefer watching, animated movies and automotive related movies. These kind of films don't really do it for me, unfortunately. And I want a quick update. I don't know if it's just my YouTube chat's not working well. Can you see, Scarface, I do want you to check your own YouTube chat, not what's on the screen, but like the actual live chat on YouTube, and see if messages are posted.
I cannot see We Can Be Heroes or the new link, so I'm going to go ahead and post them myself and see what happens.
Oh, that's what was working.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but let me go ahead and repost both of these. Yeah, don't know what happened there. Have they appeared on the Restream chat?
They haven't appeared in the YouTube chat yet.
No. I don't know what's going on. Oh, boy. Wonderful. Thanks. Just when you think things couldn't, thanks Restream. Thanks for that.
This is like, I don't even see your thing in YouTube. I don't even see your thing on the YouTube live chat. So
hold
on.
All kinds of fucked.
All kinds of shit biscuits.
Let me go ahead and refresh. Let me go ahead and refresh the page, and then I can see messages you've been writing. Yeah, well, we just can't see it on the visual page. That's what we're trying to get it on the on our visual page. That's the most important thing, because if it's not on the visual page, it's not going. But
now it shows up for Kyle.
Well, that's weird. I don't know how to react to this. This is weird.
Well, we just got to roll with it. It's news of the world, I guess.
Yeah, they can't see my messages either. Kruz, do you mind typing in the links if it shows up for you, because that would be most helpful. Yeah.
And I can. Where's a copy? And as far as the I think this works. Oh, I forgot to label it. That's Sylvie's Love. And yeah, I think they did use the same font as from La La Land for the title. Another music, circumstance of life kind of thing.
This is just fucking lovely. Thanks, YouTube. It's not just a Restream issue, it's a YouTube issue.
So YouTube is doing this.
Because I don't know if you... Can you guys see what I just posted? I posted the link to News of the World. Check your actual live chat.
No, I can't see it at all.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, YouTube is kind of doing bullshit right now. I don't know what's going on.
Cool. So if you guys are typing in the chat, I can't see that. And I don't want to risk refreshing the page.
Kruz,
Yeah,
can you
so-
type in the chat?
I see my. Hold on. So I can see it in. So I'm looking at the chat on my phone. I don't see it, but I can see it on my computer where I did post it. The links. I don't see anything on my phone, which is weird.
Yeah,
The
I know.
friend.
It's frustrating,
down.
but we're gonna have to. Well, we're gonna have to move on and talk about we're gonna have to move on and talk about our next films. We do apologize for this inconvenience. We'll hope to post the links in our VOD. It's just easier this way. We do apologize. This is very, very inconvenience for us. We did not have this we did not expect this to go the way it expected to go. But anyway,
I'm about to try
as much as
I'm about to try something stupid. I'm gonna open up the agenda on my phone and try and see if I can copy the link and post it from my phone chat. So
yeah, go ahead and try it.
Because we're still on Sylvie's love.
Yeah.
I see Kyle's message. It's weird that there's a weird gap. Not a gap.
See,
I can't see your message at all, Kruz.
that'll post.
Yeah. And that's why I decided to look on my phone, because I'm like, oh, could I see it from another perspective? No, apparently not. Even though it's the same account, but whatever.
So I just posted it. It's not showing up there. It's not.
I see.
I think the entire chat is kind of broken right now, so we're gonna
Somebody
have to
YouTube's getting
move on and
shanked.
continue. Yeah, probably. But anyway,
I'm gonna check Twitter really quickly, see if YouTube has posted something about that, see if there's like a support ticket or something like that. But there's probably not.
yeah.
Oh, it could be. No, it's not that. Let's see. See if YouTube's posted anything saying you're having issues with chat. Nope, nothing.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to move on.
I guess we're just not allowed to post links.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So
let's move on with news of the world and see if this
we're gonna
works.
move on with news. All right. Oscar season continues to flourish into the week with news of the world, an upcoming American Western drama film co-written and directed by Paul Greengrass, based on the 2016 novel of the same name by Paulette Giles. The film stars Tom Hanks and Helena Zengel. 5 years after the end of the Civil War, Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd, a veteran of 3 wars, now moves from town to town as a non-fictional storyteller, sharing the news of the president's and queen's glorious feuds, devastating catastrophes, and gripping adventures from the far reaches of the globe. On the plains of Texas, he crosses paths with Johanna, a 10-year-old taken in the Kiowa people 6 years earlier and raised as one of their own. Joanna, hostile to a world she's never experienced, is being returned to her biological aunt and uncle against her will. Kid agrees to deliver the child where the law says she belongs. As they travel hundreds of miles into the forgiving wilderness, the two will face tremendous challenges of both human and natural forces as they search for a place that either can call home. So this is kind of interesting. It's reminding me of a similar Western film called The Searchers. At least that's what it seems to look like at the very least. The director of the film is Paul Greengrass, with this film repertoire consisting of The Bourne Supremacy, United 93, The Bourne Ultimatum, and Captain Phillips, also starring Tom Hanks. So it's not like he hasn't worked with Tom Hanks before. I guess my one very questionable thing about this movie is whether or not they plan on making the Native Americans seem like they're the bad guys. I don't know. Something about this story kind of seems a bit questionable by today's standards, considering Native Americans are seen as the minority in our country. The last thing we want to do is evoke stereotypes towards people of color or other ethnicities, giving us that idea that this is what they're like when it really isn't. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But I think it's best if we see where the story goes in terms of plot and direction. Other than that, the movie at least looks cool. I do kind of feel this will probably be one of the most Oscar bait films of the year. This is a big importance right here. The film releases on Christmas, December 25th. So, yeah, what's going on? What do you think, Naka, Kruz?
Kruz, go ahead.
I think I wasn't sure because we didn't see a ton of, or at least when I watched the trailer, I didn't see a ton of. I saw Native Americans on horses, but I mean, we learned about this in American history. There was a thing that happened. People were abducted, kidnapped. I mean, it's hard to say it, but you think that. I mean, as much as it's a dumb thing to say, both sides, yes, that is true, but it was kind of just like a wild. I mean, that's why they call it the Wild West, because people have their lands intruded upon and they seek retribution, and I mean, that's just how things were, and I think that a real good positive thing for a point of view of Native Americans is actually from Testament, because Chuck Billy, his name might not indicate it, but he is of Native American heritage, and that's what The Healers was about, and also Native Blood from Dark Roots of Earth. So, yeah, it's really talk about how it's like, he's like, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm anyone else. Like, I am, like, this is who I am, and I'm not gonna let anyone get in my way. As far as the movie plot goes, I feel like there's another reference to Tom Hanks and Captain. It's like it follows him around. It looked like a pretty decent movie as far as the trailer set it up to be. But yeah, I feel like it's kind of not much else going on.
Gotcha.
No, it's just kind of like yeah, sure, that's good, and then you forget about it the next day.
So,
yeah. So
I can see from one aspect about the child character. Excuse me. The child character, saying that they were abducted. Now they're 10, but they were abducted 6 years ago. It's that kind of mishmash of childhood development. Because, you're starting to, at 4, you're starting to develop memories, and that's when you've got some semblance of speech formed out. But then you're abducted and put into a different way of life for 6 years. You're taught different things, and from that perspective, I feel like that's going to be an interesting thing to watch. But I swear to God, if it criminalizes and dehumanizes and makes Native Americans and indigenous peoples look like the villains or the antagonists in this film, it's going to piss me off.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, if what it seems to be more so than villains, is just kind of like the old thing about calling them savages or whatever, like that seems to be have been more prevalent in classic old, to use the genre, I guess you'd call it, cowboys and Indians kind of thing, that just kind of like there's just an all-out conflict and everything.
I feel like
people were intruding on other people's land and taking advantage of them, and I feel like it was like there's a lot of stuff that is just unfortunate consequences, but
I'm probably going to say something that's going to piss a lot of people off, but it needs to be heard. This country was never ours to begin with. Just saying. So,
yeah, it wasn't.
That's George Carlin bit too. It's like this great country of ours, like
it was all formed on stolen land.
Well, actually, this great country we inherited. Well, actually, we stole it from Mexicans and Indians, but it was nice when we stole it.
It was nice when we stole it.
Yeah. Have you seen it? It's one giant fucking shopping mall.
So, it's this. I would hope that Tom Hanks thought about this. I would hope that Tom Hanks thought this decision through enough, and hopefully there's a silver lining around it to make it, at least a competent film, not just in terms of plot, but also in terms of accuracy, because there is a problem with making Native Americans seem like they're the bad guys. And honestly, it's it doesn't fly today. It really doesn't, and that's the problem,
no, it
and we
doesn't.
have to acknowledge that. No,
That's
so
That's the thing is like they're not. When I mean, I want to clarify what I said. Like when I mean that it's an all-out conflict, it's that the belligerents are both sides. That people, no one is quote the bad guy, even though you could say that, and then probably people that are the bad guys are people taking away land from other people. People that are doing horrible things to others, and that I think just the way that American history developed, it's a dark spot in our history, but it's something that we can't ignore, and that's part of the message of history is that we can't ignore it because the whole point of learning history is to prevent those mistakes from happening again, and hopefully people get more of an appreciation for how things actually happened versus just thinking of an idealistic kind of history, stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Well, that being said, I think it's best that we move on to
more political intrigue.
Hey, remember when we talked about Cassius Clay and Muhammad Ali earlier? Yeah.
Oscar season continues. Yet again, with a film by an actress you may have overlooked. One Night in Miami is the first feature film directed by Regina King, with a screenplay by Kemp Powers based on based on a stage play of the same name, and stars Kingsley Ben-Adir, Ellie Gorey, Aldous Hodge, and Leslie Odom Jr. More on Kemp Powers later on another film. We'll talk about that later. Set on the fictionalized night of February 25th, 1964, follows a young, brash Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, as he emerges from the Miami Beach Convention Center, the new heavyweight boxing champion of the world. Against all odds, he defeated Sonny Liston and shocked the sports world. While crowds of people swam Miami Beach to celebrate the match, Clay, unable to stay on the island because of the Jim Crow era segregation laws, spends the evening at the Hampton House Motel in Miami's African-American Overtown neighborhood, celebrating with three of his closest friends, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown. During this historic evening, these icons, who each were the very representation of pre-Black power movement and felt the social pressure their crossover celebrity brought, shared their thoughts with each other about their responsibilities as influencers, standing up, defending their rights, and moving the country forward to equality and empowerment for all Black people. The next morning, the four men emerged determined to define a new world for themselves and their community. The film is directed by Regina King, and if you don't know who that is, she's an actress who's been in quite a few films you may have heard of. Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, Friday, Jerry Maguire, Ray, and recently in 2018, If Beale Street Could Talk, which I actually have seen and own, but has never directed a feature film before. And quite frankly, I like what I see. I get the feeling that perhaps she's going a Tarantino route with this picture, kind of like how he went with Inglourious Basterds, because we all know that the main villain doesn't die in the same way he does in real life. But to take four key features of Black history, put them all in a room together where they meet each other, it's a rather interesting sight to see. It may be fictional, but I think that's the point of it. It's supposed to be so that you get the sensation of, say, Abraham Lincoln meeting Martin Luther King Jr. It's supposed to give you that feeling of a what-if scenario. Personally, I'm excited. I want to find out where this is going to go. The film has a theatrical release on Christmas, December 25th, and will release on Amazon Prime Video on January 15th, 2021. Guys, what do you have to say regarding this? Kruz, Naka?
Let's go. And we already mentioned Ali. I think, again, in reference to how history works, there's a lot of there's a dangerous thing with like going on revisionist history, and that's but you can avoid that, and you can also just consider like the what ifs of history. Like those are questions. Like you can, I guess the word is extrapolate, like what would have happened if, say, these people had met on this night and maybe figured out some plan to do something, because they're all, real big names, at least two of them in the sports world, Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali, that you think about how their viewpoints may have agreed, coincided, maybe some differences in thoughts they would have had. Definitely an interesting proposition for like these people, and so these people, well, not all of them actually ever met. That's the premise? Like, this is like if they had met.
Yes,
but it is very interesting to see like how they potentially would have interacted with each other, and the ideas they would have thrown at each other, and just see what they would even just talk about. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting premise. I don't have Prime Video, but I think my mom does. So yeah, we might be able to see it. I
mean, if you pay for
2021.
Amazon Prime, you have Prime Video. That's just a given. Naka, what do you have to say regarding this film? You're blinking. You're blinking.
What, whenever I do this?
Yeah,
sounds about
kind of.
right.
No, but really.
With the filmmakers, with Regina King's, prior experience with films like this, being first directorial role, I hope it works out for Regina King. I feel like this scenario could work out pretty well, and it's based on true events. It's based off a play by the same name. For showing another side and other people involved in the civil rights movement in the 60s, I feel like it's an important film for people to watch as well.
Indeed.
And
so,
that's all pretty much I have to say.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next film, which, in my opinion, this is one of the ones that I really want to see. Like, really, really want to see. Which, talk about a blast from the past. This movie should have come out a lot earlier than it should have. Promising Young Woman is a 2020 American black comedy thriller film directed, written, and produced by Emerald Fennell in her feature directorial debut. The film stars Carey Mulligan, Bo Burnham, Allison Brie, Clancy Brown,
Clancy
ahoy,
Brown.
SpongeBob. Yeah, ahoy, SpongeBob. Jennifer Coolidge, Laverne Cox, and Connie Britton. Cassie Thomas is a young woman in her 20s who lives with her parents, Stanley and Susan, who are disappointed with how her daughter's life has turned out. Cassie once had a more promising life. She was enrolled in medical school and was on the right track to become a doctor. However, after her friend Nina Fisher was brutally raped by one of their classmates, while others watched, and the school did nothing to help, Cassie dropped out to take care of her. Nina eventually died by suicide, and Cassie was severely traumatized by this. Now she has a job at a coffee shop, which she has zero interest in, but does have good friendships with her boss, Gail. By night, she goes to clubs and pretends to be drunk in an effort to get nice guys to take her home. She waits for them to attempt to take advantage of her intoxication and turns the tables on them, scaring them into changing the error of their ways. Holy fucking shit. I want to see this movie. The film is written and directed by Emerald Fennell in her directorial debut, and I have to say, the film looks fucking phenomenal. From the premise, the way the trailer is shot, how it relates to current society. This is definitely a film that I will think that will not only get women's attention, but I think men's as well. The film originally was supposed to release in April of this year, but sadly the film got pushed way back a whole 6 months before we ever got to see it due to the pandemic. So our new release date is Christmas, December 25th exactly. The film has been getting mad reviews, and quite frankly, I cannot wait to see it. It looks fucking phenomenal. Kruz, Naka, what do you think?
Part of this reminds me of a book that I read, I believe it was freshman year of high school. It reminds me of Speak, which is, it's a story about a girl who was raped and was dealing with life until she finally was able to get out of it. That's kind of what this reminds me of. But, it's different. There was a movie based on it with Kristen Stewart. That's another story for another day. However, well, yes.
What was your opinion when you heard them say, when the minute she pretended to not be drunk and said, "What are you doing?" like that. Like that is just instant reaction. I think that the reaction is just gold right there. What do you think, Naka?
It's a lot of there's a lot of it's not just men who practice this, it's also women who practice this, but
Cardi B.
Hey, don't put words in our mouth.
Yeah,
She did.
But
She bragged about it.
Don't put words in our mouth, Kruz.
I'm not. I did.
It's very important for people, whether you're male, female, you're non-binary, whatever. It's very important that, you know, it's a black comedy film, so yes, there's going to be a lot of dark humor, there's going to be a lot of laughs, but there's a key message here. And the key message is you do not try and take advantage of people when they are under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or a combination of both. You do not take advantage of people like that.
exactly.
And unfortunately, shock tactics like this probably don't work in the real world. I'm
guessing that's why they just did it in movie form to say,
exactly.
like, this is how it could work. I do have a related note. Dead meat after this.
It has to deal with a lot of, you know, teenage and young adult and, you know, dudes in their 20s and, you know, early 30s who have this behavior. It's like, oh, I can get somebody drunk and I could take them home and then I could do whatever I want with them. It's no big deal.
No, you can't.
You can't do that. You can't.
Yeah, no.
It's hard to believe this, but I've always been in the belief that no matter who you are, what age, you need to be fully consent. Whether that is, and you need to have consent for anything, you know, that involves penises and vaginas.
Yes, we implied sober consent.
Yes.
So yeah,
and that's the key takeaway that this movie needs to drill across, and hopefully it does that well. Because if it flops, like maybe, I don't know, I don't even think about that.
It's not flopping. It's actually doing very well. It got really good reviews. So yeah, take that as what you will. But do you want to see? Would you see this movie, Naka?
Probably.
Yeah. And as for you, Kruz, what do you think?
I think the most shocking is not the right word, but the most attention-grabbing thing, of course, was the premise. And what I meant to clarify my comment, when I said that Cardi B like bragged about like doing this kind of stuff to guys, and like that's not to overshadow the core issue, and that's that it's there are tons of people who, even if they weren't planning on it, might, you know, try to do this. And I also watched earlier today Dead Meat's cover talking the kill count about Jennifer's Body, which directly also deals with this same problem. So in that movie, there was bands that at this little tavern venue, and the tavern venue caught fire. And the band, one of the band members encouraged the Jennifer to continue drinking and then to leave with them, while her friend was pretty much helpless to stop it. But then, ultimately, what happened is that she became. They were trying to do this. It kind of is like suspend your belief for a second. They were trying to do this satanic ritual, and they end up messing it up because she wasn't actually a virgin. They wanted to. She said she was in the hopes that they would stop, but they didn't do anything to her. They just killed. I don't say they didn't do anything. They killed her. They didn't molest her. That was the thing. And then she starts feeding on men and their blood and everything. There is closure. This is an old movie, so there is closure that the friend of hers who is infected with the demon power stuff does end up killing the members of the band who did that in the first place.
Kruz, I'm sorry, but this is very non sequitur. It doesn't relate to the topic at all. Like,
no, it does. There was a whole thing about date rapey thing, and this one addresses it a little differently, a lot more comedy related to it. But I think that it's worth exploring as just a thought experiment for film, at least. Because again, Naka said that these shock tactics probably wouldn't exactly work in real life. I mean, I haven't seen Scared Straight, but I imagine it probably wouldn't have the same effect. But this, like, a dramatization of it kind of really drives the point home. And that's what part of what people want to send messages with movies. That's what they do with this.
All right, well, I'm going to move on because that was way too much time. I'm sorry, Kruz. That was way too much time.
Yeah,
we're going to go ahead and move.
Dude, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was a little too far. Well, yeah, no. You have to wrap things up. I'm sorry. Anyway, we're going to move on. We have 2 more films that we need to look, and both look absolutely phenomenal. First, let's take a look at what's going on behind Pixar's doors with their 23rd film in the Pixar catalog, Soul, a 2020 American computer animated comedy drama film produced by Pixar Animation Studios for distribution by Walt Disney Pictures. It is directed by Pete Docter and co-directed by Ken Powers, the same guy who wrote One Night in Miami, the very film we were talking about in this show, and written by Pete Docter, Ken Powers, and Mike Jones. The film stars the voices of Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey, Questlove, Felicia Rashid, David Diggs, and Angela Bassett. Soul premiered at the BFI London Film Festival on October 11th, 2020. Enter Joe Gardner, a middle school band teacher who gets the chance of a lifetime to play at the best jazz club in town. But one small misstep takes him from the streets of New York to the great before, a fantastical place where new souls get their personalities, quirks, and interests before they go to Earth. Determined to return to his life, Joe teams up with the precocious soul 22, who has never understood an appeal to the human experience. As Joe desperately tries to show 22 what's great about living, he may just discover the answers to some of life's most important questions in order to return to the Earth before his body dies. The film is directed by Pete Docter, an animator at Pixar. And not only has he written and worked on the animation of nearly every Pixar film known to man, he's also directed some of the most timeless films you've ever seen, with Monsters, Inc., Up, and Inside Out. 2 out of his 3 winning Best Animated Feature at the Oscars, with the second and third possibly being 2 of his and Pixar's best works. I love Pixar. I love the movies they make. They distinguish themselves from Disney. It's why for a time before Disney entered the revival era, starting with The Princess and the Frog, I would always choose Pixar before choosing them because for a time, they were doing what Disney could not. Deep, emotional, captivating stories. And I have a feeling that it'll be very hard for this film to falter, not because Pete Docter knows how to make an animated film. He knows how to captivate the audience. And as much as I love Wolfwalkers, and I expect that film to be nominated for Best Animated Feature as well as this one next year at the Oscars 2021, Pixar 85% of the time never ceases to disappoint me. So we'll see what happens. As I guess you can call a quote-unquote present to existing Disney Plus subscribers, as well as possibly to a very, very shitty year in general, Disney has decided to release the film on Christmas, December 25th, for free with paid subscription, meaning they avoid the Mulan 2020 route and didn't ask us to fork over $30. Thank God. Either way, this will definitely be a film that I will check out on Christmas Day, while also checking out our last film. However, let's talk about this film just before we get into our very last piece. What do you guys think with this film, guys?
Well, you say that it is going to be nominated alongside Wolfwalkers. If both of those get nominated, you probably know what's going to win, and it's going to be this one because, let's be honest,
depending on how it does.
Best animation is usually the Disney or Pixar award.
Yeah, like best animated feature is usually known as the Disney Pixar Award. It's very, very upsetting to me, and I think Wolfwalkers will definitely be animated for best animated feature, but it will probably be in second, like it usually is, depending on how well this film does. But again, we have to wait and see. There's no way of telling. There's no way of knowing. But Pete Docter, man, he knows how to make a film. He really does. He knows how to make an animated film. So unless he makes a flawless film with this particular movie, I see this movie taking over Wolfwalkers. It's inevitable, guys. It's inevitable. There's really nothing I can do. Like there's really nothing we can say. Like it's hard, and we understand that it's biased. It's just, I loved Wolfwalkers. Even, I want Naka to see it, and I hope he does get the chance to see it. But hey,
I have Disney
what do you
Plus.
think about?
Oh, you're talking about Wolfwalkers and Apple TV Plus.
Well,
no, I'm not supporting.
Well,
that.
yeah, Soul. Soul, and Soul. I do want you to see Soul. Do you have any chances of seeing this film, or?
I have Disney Plus.
All right. Well, will you see it though?
Probably.
And Kruz,
the whole thing about trying to prove answer questions about humanity and stuff like that. Well, we finally confirmed the meaning of life is 42.
There may be some tongue-in-cheek reference to that.
It better be. I'm going to give this movie a 0 out of 10 if there's no 42 reference in there.
Or 0 out of 42. I have access, or my friend, as we were trying to watch one of Clone Wars series on Disney Plus, and so I have his login information, so I could watch it. Regarding Wolfwalkers, could that possibly get best or beyond or best? What do they call it? Foreign film, because it's from Ireland.
It probably will not because it's actually in the English language, so it probably won't count on the Oscars. So yeah, it's disappointing, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah,
it was a great experience, and I do see that the Pixar. I mean, classic after classic of anime movies, and you really hit the main, some of the main ones with the Monsters Inc. Up. This one looks to be a little more similar style to Inside Out, which I haven't seen, but I've seen clips of, and it kind of looks like they look similar to the little sprites or spirits being not quite alive, but being the other ones being inside someone's brain, and the other ones being ones being actual souls. It does look pretty engaging.
So we'll just have to, honestly, guys, we just have to wait and see how well this is going to do, because animation is one thing, story on the other hand, completely different. So we'll have to wait and see how this works. Personally, I do want to see how this compares to Wolfwalkers, and we just kind of have to wait and see what happens with that. Not much for me to say regarding Soul, although I do kind of find it funny that you did get a French poster of Soul, Kruz, and I only see that because you couldn't find an actual poster, but it's fine.
The original, this is not the first time this has happened. It happened with the Kruz one, but I only noticed that at the end, and I'm like, oh, whatever the fuck. I couldn't get I tried to find the actual IMDb one page. But but it didn't. I couldn't save it as a JPEG or anything that would show up on my computer. But you assume you know what December is in French. You know what we told you what day it's coming out.
So, if anything, this is a great Christmas present to give to your friends, just to watch during the holidays. Since we're going to be in our rooms for the time being, in our houses for the time being, I should say. Kruz, Naka, do you have anything else you want to say regarding Soul? I mean, it is a Pixar film. It is a Disney film. There's a lot to talk about.
I think it's time we move on to our final film of discussion for the year 2020.
And now, finally, the film a lot of people have been waiting for, including everyone here at Subwoofer. It's finally time to see what DC has in store for us with Wonder Woman 1984, a 2020 American superhero... A 2020 American superhero film based on the DC comics character Wonder Woman. It is the sequel to 2017's Wonder Woman and the 9th installment in the DC Extended Universe. The film is directed by Patty Jenkins, once again, from a script she wrote with Jeff Johns and David Callahan, based off a story by Johns and Jenkins. Gal Gadot stars as Deanna Prince, Wonder Woman, alongside Chris Pine, Kristen Wiig, Pedro Pascal, Robin Wright, and Connie Nielsen. Unfortunately, there's not much of a synopsis I can give you because I was trying very hard to find one without spoiling the premise. Continuing off where the first film ended, now set in 1984 during the Cold War, the film follows Deanna and her past love Steve Trevor as they face off against her new foes, Maxwell, Lord, and Cheetah. I can literally feel all the furries flocking to come see this movie just to see if it just to see it, if only for that, because oh my god, Cheetah, she looks like an actual furry. Yeah, I get that. Hold on. Let's continue. Do I really need to go into that much detail? You all know who Patty Jenkins is. You all know who Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman is. However, it only makes sense to say what we think for this trailer for this movie. As you know, I think all three of us saw the original film, and we were legit worried that the first film wouldn't really hold our attention, if only because the DCEU at the point was sorely lacking in quality, with Suicide Squad being the film that came before Wonder Woman in 2017. Especially since MCU was getting hit after hit after hit, it only seemed to make a little more sense that the DCU do the same, but sadly was not even coming close to the level of quality MCU had. However, when Wonder Woman came out, not only was our expectations exceeded, they exceeded to the point where our standards for it were placed on a much higher scale this time. Of course, we're all ecstatic, but we're also keeping a close eye on things this time around. They were able to tell a good story with the first one, but now they need to keep that level of expectation and push it further. Telling another origin story is not going to do it this time around. And yeah, why would it? It's a sequel. But what I'm saying is that the plot and tone needs to be pushed even further. We need not only relatable characters, but we need to be with those characters in order to understand and better relate to them. And frankly, the film has been getting very well done reviews, so that already has our attention. However, can it keep and push it higher? That's what we want to know, and we'll have to wait and see. We should remind you that this will be the start of Warner Brothers' new plan with their entire film slate of 2021, as we explained 2 episodes ago, meaning that on the start of Christmas, December 25th, the film will release concurrently in both theaters and HBO Max for a month beginning on the same date, and this will now apply to future releases from Warner Brothers in 2021. In international markets, they do not have HBO Max. The film was theatrically released based on December 16th, 2020, and the film received generally positive reviews from critics. Whether at home or practicing safely in a movie theater, needless to say, we're all excited. Naka, Kruz, what do you have to say?
I'm hoping it can live up to the hype, and hoping it actually does well, because Wonder Woman was, again, one of the only films in the DCEU at the time that was worth a damn.
Yeah, I think I think Aquaman came after that. I don't know about, what's his name, Patrick Wilson as the villain, and again, who Ares was in Wonder Woman, the first one. I'm like, I can see it in like his real life role, how is his human character, but I'm like, but he's not an actual. He doesn't look like a god of war, but that's just nitpicky stuff. Overall, I really enjoyed Wonder Woman. Also enjoyed Aquaman. Saw it with my friend. And yes, not just because Jason Momoa is a badass, but this we can be hopeful. And I think that just from what you can see from the trailer, again, there's not much you can go on with story, but visually, looks like they're not just resting on their laurels with this. Hopefully they like really push it, make it something that's not trying to one up the original, but something that can really be a good follow up to it.
So yeah, I mean, like, now the problem with this film is that, of course, it's being released on HBO Max, and not every person has the authority to, get HBO Max. So, and I'm counting on it right now. Even like what goes on, you need to understand the rules of the internet. What goes on the internet stays on the internet. Just because they're taking Wonder Woman 1984 off of HBO Max doesn't mean it's not going to disappear away from the internet. There's going to be lots of pirating of this film, so
talk to Pornhub about that.
Oh yeah,
Talk to Pornhub about that.
Yeah, so
14 million videos to 2 million overnight. There's a lot of issues actually behind what that happened, and we're not at peace to talk about it.
No, we are not. So, but yeah, Wonder Woman 1984. I personally can't wait. I can only hope that it one-ups the original. Do you hope it one-ups the original, Naka?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I only asked. Sure. Because, I wish you had more to say regarding this film. That's all. So.
Again, you said like with the there's not much like you can talk about with plot in the trailer that doesn't give too much away. I don't know. I'm open if it does do better than the original, great. But what I said earlier is, I mean, I don't think it should. If it looks like it's trying too hard, then that might kind of be a turnoff. But I do think they got a solid chance of being like a real good sequel.
Yeah. So, I mean, it already looks like a real good sequel, and it takes place in the 80s, you know, the best time for pop culture and, you know, the worst time for politics. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and...
Now it is 1984.
We are moving on
at your front door. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that is the end of our agenda for this week, folks. And now
for
it's
the
time
year
for some
2020.
We have to talk about, you know, important stuff. So yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys recently. Let's just talk about Christmas for a little bit. This is, in my opinion, I think this is the closest episode we've ever had towards Christmas. The closest episode, I think. Like I've never had a show this close before. Like 5 days before Christmas. That's
it helps when Christmas is on a Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
so.
Christmas is on a Friday, so you know.
Up until this point, I've been either in the gap year program. That's where I had the god awful fucking internet in 2016. But since then, I've been in college, we were on break, but we kind of decided to take a break a little earlier. But yeah, I don't know. It feels nice, I guess, to have like a quote unquote Christmas episode, as you call it.
So
the set Christmas special.
Yes, we'll just call it the set Christmas special, since you know we've been kind of doing a lot of things. I will have to say though, I did get some interesting presents from some friends of mine. I actually went and had a Secret Santa gift that we tried to have. You know, we actually had a Secret Santa group that I met with, and I actually got a present. Two presents from a friend of mine. He's Adrian of the Anthroholics. He got me a copy of a graphic novel and storyboards of Bong Joon-ho's Parasite. Again, I love the film so much. I love Parasite, but now that I actually get to read the storyboards while the film is going on, that is so cool. He also got me a Criterion collection of a Scorsese shorts. So I can just basically watch, you know, many short films done by, you know, Scorsese, or, you know, like that were made by students of Scorsese. So that's really, really cool. I guess I should just address the elephant in the room. We were actually going to be opening presents today, but unfortunately, Amazon doesn't know when to make up their mind. No, seriously, like it just. Yeah, no, not really. I ordered Naka and Kruz a present from Amazon, and basically what ended up happening was that Naka got his like in no time flat. He got it in like the next day, but
Kruz live like 6 miles away from a fulfillment center.
I know, and like Kruz, like who lives in Baltimore, like it took him like 3 days, and I ordered it like I don't live in Baltimore.
I used to live in Baltimore. I don't anymore. We're immediately closer to DC, but it does sometimes take a little while between Amazon packages being quote out for delivery and then actually being delivered. I ordered because I just wanted an extra mask. I ordered an Agretsuko mask like a month ago, and it's still not here.
You mean Agretsuko? Kruz.
What?
It's Agretsuko.
I just say Agretsuko. I said Agretsuko because I'm stupid. Apparently, I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, like it was supposed to arrive. My present was actually supposed to arrive to your house today, but like not like 2 hours before our showtime, I got a notification saying, "Oh yeah, your present just shipped." I'm like, "My package just shipped." Great. I'm like, "And it's arriving tomorrow," and it's arriving tomorrow at 9 p.m. I'm like, fuck. So So yeah, Naka already opened his present, but
I know what it
we're
is.
not
I'm
gonna
not spoiling it.
Do you want
Yeah,
me
we're
to?
not gonna.
Did you say you want
we're
me
not
to
gonna-
go and check?
Well, not anymore because now it's not showing. Now it's not coming till tomorrow, so we'll have to wait on that. Kruz, on the other hand, got me Ori and the Will of the Wisp on Nintendo Switch. I was very, very surprised. Presents are and I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to, USPS. They have to put up with so much shit this year, not just with COVID, but with our current administration that hasn't transitioned yet. Oh my God, it's taking forever to get there. It's been a hell of an interesting month, so to say. And Naka, is there anything else you want to talk about when it comes to Christmas? I know you're kind of you're not the jolliest type, but I understand. When it comes to Christmas, yeah.
Considering everything that happened this year, like even before coronavirus impacted the world the way it has. I'm surprised we made it this far. Because remember, in January, we were on the brink of thermonuclear war.
Oh yeah.
Now it's like ain't nobody got time for that shit.
Yeah,
it's
let's worry
been
about
just a really weird and strange world, and we made it. Just all I can say is that we can hope 2021 is a better year, all things considered. The vaccines are going to come out, and they're going to be more readily available. January 20th can't get here fast enough. Indeed, Shutter. There's still going to be some bullshit surrounding that, unfortunately. But
and I want you guys to keep your eyes peeled for January 5th, because that's a very, very important day indeed. And I hope you guys, and I think you guys know exactly what I'm referring to. What happens on January 5th?
The 5th.
That's the Georgia Senate runoff, right?
Yes, indeed. And that is a very, very crucial element indeed, because this literally tells us who is going to be running the Senate that allows us and enables us to actually get shit done. So, it's
all eyes on Georgia. I mean, that's how it is. I think I was thinking about I know I said got Scarfy the game, but I was thinking of like, oh, I could Naka something. It wouldn't have come close enough, but I was thinking of getting Seattle Kraken mask. But that's contingent, I guess, now on whether you take Vrana away from us. If you take Vrana, I will be upset.
Hey, again, I have no control upset. Over
that. So I just want to say, it's been a hell of a year, guys. It's been a hell of a year, and you know what really sucks about this year? The fact that we just have so much to talk about. It's crazy, and we're not even done with the season yet. We're just done with the year, and we're coming back on what is it? January 3rd, I believe.
January 3rd, I believe, is when we are returning. Yeah. If not January 10th, we will make an announcement by the end of next week or like in the middle of the week. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But
so
planning for January 3rd.
Yeah, and January 3rd is going to be, and you want to know what the worst part is like, even though we open the new year up, things haven't changed.
It's kind of like
worry. Yeah.
That was this thing with how people, and I've mentioned this before, that how live shows or tours as things have been canceled and tentatively rescheduled to 2021. The closest dates are in the summer, like July. So I think I was feeling like this year it's like, oh yeah, the COVID year is over. No, it's not even fucking close. You still gotta wear the mask, and that's why I was thinking, okay, Naka one. The whole, as soon as it turns to 2021, COVID isn't going away, but it's closer to going away. Hopefully everything with the vaccine and such. And hopefully that gets Merry
And Kyle
Christmas.
just donated $200. Happy Firmus to you, awesome fellow furs. Thank you.
Oh,
Christmas.
wait.
Christmas.
I missed that. I missed that. Jesus Christ! I'm replaying it. I'm replaying it.
All right, go
I
ahead.
saw
go
it.
ahead.
I saw it on screen.
I didn't. I missed it. Fuck.
Oh yeah, Parker.
I saw
Don't be surprised.
So it's
Holy shit! Thank you, Kyle.
So on this shitty year, where everything is just basically canceled. It's basically canceled the movie. Let's just call it canceled. That's literally what the movie is.
It's like I think the Game Grumps talked about this in a very appropriate fashion. That they're thinking like, we might have to be, work from home for like 2 weeks. 6 months later, it's like, huh?
And not only that, there's just a whole bunch of bullshit that we still have to address, and the year has literally been just an absolute clusterfuck of a year. I remember we were going in. I remember it was March, and it was just we were talking about this film being canceled, and then we just basically canceled the season altogether because I was just so tired and I couldn't keep up with all the work, and I was graduating that year and it was getting more and more hectic. I just couldn't even done it. So it's
Yeah, I graduated this year too. I think, did we graduate same this year?
Yeah, I did. I have my diploma, class of 2020, bitch.
Yeah, I had to finish courses online. Sadly, not all the professors were used to or even had a plan to do the classes online properly. We did do some we didn't use Microsoft Teams, which fucking sucks because it's laggy as shit. But one professor did a good job. It was just weird overall trying to finish it that way.
This was a weird week for me because I just felt like everything was going in slow motion. Like Sunday was just not coming soon enough, and there was just a whole bunch of stuff that we needed to talk about, and it's. I will have to say, my hope for next year, even after we return on the 3rd, and we still have to worry about the Georgia Senate and the Electoral College in January 20th, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I am hopeful and yet cautiously optimistic that things are going to get better. I think things are definitely going to turn around. They may not turn around as fast as you would like them to turn around, but they will definitely turn around nonetheless. We're just going to have to be patient. All we can do is play the waiting game at this point. Christmas, for those of you, when it comes to Christmas, I want to say, please just, I know it's been very, very hard. You can't really go anywhere. It's been annoying. You can't go anywhere. You can't visit family. You can't visit friends. You can't talk to people. My grandmother tested positive for COVID, and this was during the time where I was very scared, and I called her and I do updates with her via text, asking how are you feeling? Are you feeling okay? And she says that she's feeling all right, and that other stuff. And it's one of those things where I have to be wary of every single day of every second. It's why I did not go. I didn't travel this year. I am not traveling this year. It's unfortunate, but I want you guys to
we
keep
didn't
it together.
travel either.
So I want you guys to keep it together. I want you guys to really just I think we all know what to say when it comes to this, and I want you all to be cautiously optimistic for this upcoming year, because even though the new year's coming, COVID's not done. We still have to wait until cases drop and all this other shit, and it doesn't make anything special. So we're just going to have to do what we can. For those of you who are traveling, please do it safely. And for the love of God, don't be entitled. Please don't be a Karen. I just have to throw that out there. I am getting so fucking tired of people acting like they're entitled because they're American and they should, get what they want. And I'm sorry, it just doesn't fly by.
Freedom ain't
It just
free.
doesn't fly anymore. So
Don't be a Karen.
yeah. So
no one
it's-
ever wants to be a Karen.
yeah. So Naka, what do you have to say closing out this year of 2020, this disastrous yet slightly optimistic year?
Well, on the bright side, we didn't go to thermonuclear war.
Yeah, and we didn't elect the president for our current president for another term.
Yeah, even with all the negative shit that went on this year, all the politics, the social justice issues, climate issues, there's still good that came out of it. It
was a very go ahead.
That's or a Chad or a Kevin or whatever the male equivalent of a Karen is. But
I think
there's
it's
a lot of good that can come out of shit years. And, yes, there were shit games, there were shit movies, but you can look for the good ones. And you look
Oh my
for
God,
the
I
good
did.
in the bad.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but we've been very productive this time of year. We got to have a voice actor on our podcast. I earned my bachelor's degree. I learned how to cook. I built my own PC. I got my driver's permit, and now I'm, making my own content online by streaming Final Fantasy IV. If you guys are watching, I don't know. If the 3 people are watching, who knows?
I haven't had time to, but yes, I also did the college thing. I think I want to guess, kind of reiterate about like thoughts about the year what Unis Honest did. Mark and Ethan, I think Mark said this, but it was like it wasn't the year we wanted, but it was the year we got, and it really forcing them to adapt to different circumstances, which they did. They have not missed a video for all the 365 days that they had to do them. But yeah, nothing is ever going to go exactly according to plan, but when you're able to just kind of take things in stride and continue to follow your work ethic and just don't give up, and that's what this year kind of really embodies. And also in terms of music, for me, I mean that some artists released like the best stuff they've ever done, even under difficult circumstances. So
like freaking, System of a Down came back. Like that was out of the blue, and that was just because of what was going on in Armenia. So
yeah, and
Kruz,
also all that stuff. So
Yeah,
a lot of really feel good stories, I guess.
Like
so
$600 for expanding your website? That's the license fee? Are you kidding me?
that's a lot of money.
Jesus H. Christ. There's gotta be cheaper web hosting.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, there's got to be, you can't just go free and have it look like shit. You need to find a balance of the two. Like,
that's my question. What did you get for what expansion did you get for that much money?
You were saying, Naka?
But let's see. My year in review is pretty much went to college for winter quarter, which was welding. Empty real estate. Yeah, that was the unfortunate thing about this year, was all the conventions that got canceled and events. That's what sucks about this year, is that a lot of content creators, who rely on going to conventions for content, they couldn't do that, and there wasn't really, they couldn't fill that void, which I understand the feeling of that, Shutter, which is like there's other ventures that I do on the side, where it's just like, how can I create, or how can I do something to fill this void? And it's tricky. But
yeah.
so there are I
are
went
ways to
through
make
some
things
ups
work.
and downs in college where, spring quarter is supposed to be all online, then summer quarter we were supposed to be all hands on deck, and then I got a call the day classes started and saying, oh, by the way, you're back on the waiting list, see you in 6 months. So that was very heartbreaking. And let's see. I got to at least see my grandparents for 4th of July because they live on Orcas Island, so they're pretty well quarantined up there. Yeah, exactly. It's that
Yeah.
your main source of content creation, and not everybody who's a furry needs to create content, by the way. That's
Yeah. And
a
also,
misconception. The other content that doesn't go on your...
also Cheetah Obscura as far as photography. Man, he said this about cons, and I remembered at the towards the end of Furthermore, the roommate I had been with in Philadelphia the previous year. I remember he asked me, he's like, "Hey, when am I gonna see you again, man?" I said, "Yeah, I guess I'll hit up Philadelphia, and if it happens." This was Philadelphia is like early in the year, if not Philadelphia. Furthermore, it's early in the year, and this was before things started getting shut down. So I'm like, yeah, Philadelphia got canceled, and then that was when all shit started. I'm like, man, there's a lot of friends I can't visit, can't see, but I'm looking forward to getting back to that again. As soon as we can, as soon as it's safe to do so. I miss real fur cons. That's another thing we missed in 2020 for the ones that were supposed to be scheduled after the pandemic struck.
Just it's definitely been an interesting year, and like I said, I am hoping that something will good come out of it. I mean, did we ever think? Let me ask you guys this: did you ever think that Subwoofer Entertainment would look like this?
No.
It looks delicious. I mean, it started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here. So yeah, like I am surprised, and we're not even at 100 episodes yet. And let me tell you, we have something very special for 100 episodes. But we'll get to that when we get to that. I don't want to. When we get to that, so
I just want something to say. There's a lot of negativity in this world, and I know it's hard, but especially for me, there was a point this month where I felt completely fucking hopeless, but I was able to get out of it. And I know that there's people in this chat who struggle with that, and I'm not going to name names. Expanding the term, it's 3 years and keeping ads. That's why it was $600. Okay, but I need to just get something out right now. Is that even with all the shit that this year doled out to me, and through everything, I lost a family member in February, and that hit me really hard. I was able to come out of it, and it's finding those ways to pull through hard times that need to be emphasized. And Kruz struggled with it. I struggled with it for a lot this year. Scarfy struggled with it. Everybody struggles with it. And
I was struggling with therapy. I had to now pay out of pocket to do therapy sessions now because it's been a lot.
Yeah, and
to say the least.
You can't completely block out the bad.
No,
the bad still needs to be there.
Yeah.
As a
the
reference
other
point, it's finding those ways to get out of it and keep your head up high. And it's going to be tough. It's been tough for 9 months. And it's going to be for a few more, hopefully. Only a few more.
Yeah.
You got to keep your head up through everything. And I know that it's hard, especially if you're on your own. And I know people who are struggling. where
People
they
are
live on
lonely.
their own. People are lonely, and just know that you're not alone. And it sucks that we can't get in contact with each other in real life, but reach out to people. And
Indeed.
it's reach out to people, spark up a conversation. It could be about anything. It could be about, oh, I don't know, how your piss was the other night. I don't care. Just it's trying to get in contact with people. Now, whether that conversation is necessarily engaging or not, they're going to appreciate that you reached out to them, and that's honestly what is really important. Is that we try and keep our heads up high, we try and get out to and reach out to people, and we gotta just kind of roll with things for a little while, and it sucks. But one thing that I've learned is that you can still maintain a high head. This really only came within the past couple weeks. Is that I was at my probably lowest point I was at in a really long time, and I'm at one of my highest points in a really long time.
Indeed.
And it's just, I know I'm rambling on right now, but
no, it's fine.
Keep moving forward. Keep your head up high. And don't be afraid to reach out to one of us if you're struggling. My inbox is always open. I've always kept it that way. I'll never turn away from people. The only reason I wouldn't respond is because I'm either a dumbass and didn't see the notification, or I'm busy with something, but I will get back to you, and that's a promise. Because my goal in life is to help people.
Indeed.
Wisdom is a circle. What you receive, you must give back.
I do want to kind of... It's kind of in the same vein for me that the lowest point I'd been in a while was like 6 years ago, and both of the grandparents on my father's side had passed away. And after that, and you and I had talked about this, Naka, with my grandfather passed away. That was the same weekend that Death Punch released their cover of Gone Away. So that was kind of, I don't know, I say fortuitous timing for this year. I was just heartbroken. We had to, our dog, Bean, we had to put her down in September, and that was just, it came as such a shock because we knew she had medical issues, but we didn't know exactly the severity of it, and it proved to be that corrective surgery would be really a toss-up of survivability. So that day, I just spent most of the time listening to Return to Serenity by Testament, kind of like a good send-off song to be like, now we're at peace, you can rest now. Like, I still miss my dog so much. But again, there's all the low points in life, and so many bands like rock, metal, and all that, like, to talk about how the brotherhood everyone has. It's like, that's what it's about. Like, you're there for your brother in arms, and you always, no matter what, just don't give up on your friends, and make sure that the real measure of strength is your ability to like get back up and to like face adversity even when you're feeling at your lowest points. And there's absolutely no shame, none of that. There's no shame in like asking for help from friends, because that's what they're there for. And this year, when people are, because isolation and quarantine is like, it more or less exacerbated feelings of loneliness and the like. So yeah, that's why Naka said, like, reaching out to friends is important. But I think the most important part of it is that recognize where you and everyone else is, and just the answer is just keep moving forward. That's the only thing you can do, because I think I like to reference this line from one of the Baltimore Ravens hype videos. They said, "Did you think this was going to be easy? Has it ever been? It's not, but we're getting stronger." It's not going to get any easier, but we're always getting stronger. So you're always ready to fight and push forward, even if you don't think you are.
Well, guys, it's been a hell of a year. It's been a productive kind of year. It's been a intense kind of year. It has been a very,
It's been a year. We got a Half-Life game this year. We got an official canon Half-Life game.
We kicked the motherfucker out of the office. It was, we've done so much.
Classic rock has returned.
Yeah, there's a lot to do, and well, guys, it is time to wrap it up. As always, my name is Scarfy.
I am Naka.
And I'm Kruz. Fuck you, 2020.
And we will see you all in the new year, 2021. See you guys later.
Happy holidays. Take care. My inbox is open if you need anybody to talk to. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We will see you shortly after the New Year.
See you in January, guys.
Take care.